Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be talking about the Jupiter Neptune conjunction that happened on the 12th of April 2022. This is a once in a lifetime transit that can certainly make your dreams come true. It can dissolve blockages and expand healing and dissolve boundaries. Look at this conjunction as a new moon. It's going to need time to germinate and then show you its results. For those people who saw something or had an event happen on the day of the conjunction, those are people who most likely have a planet between 20 degrees of Pisces to 27 degrees of Pisces. The exact conjunction is at 24 degrees. So if you have a planet point or angle at 24 degrees of Pisces, it's very likely that you saw an event happen in your life around that time, or perhaps it's about to happen. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to read your own chart to find out if this conjunction is going to bring something into your life, something magical. Are your dreams going to come true? Well, pay attention, let's find out. So if you don't have your own natal birth chart, I suggest you go to astro.com to get your free natal birth chart so that you may follow along and understand how this is going to impact you. And for those who wish to get a reading from me, you can book a reading at rachel-mayo.com. I'm running a special promotion, 30% off most readings. So go to my website, book a reading, and let's find out what this conjunction is doing in your natal birth chart. I'm late in making this video, but however, it's still very important and is going to be useful and valid for the next 13 years. Let's examine the planets which are in conjunction and the sign that they're in conjunction in. These signs are Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter is the natural ruler of the ninth house. The ninth house rules law and the justice system. It rules foreign lands, foreign languages. It also rules our higher education system. On the other hand, it also rules gurus, priests, and religion. Let's examine what Pisces rules. Pisces rules the natural 12th house of the zodiac. The 12th house of the zodiac is the end of the zodiac. This is where things come to die. This is where things end. This is the place where things dissolve. The 12th house is the house where we self-sabotage. It's the house of our subconscious. It's a house of dreams, spirituality, the other side, perhaps with the aliens and with ghosts. The 12th house, it also rules over prisons, hospitals. It also rules over our hidden enemies. And our hidden enemies could be our own very own self-sabotaging habits like alcoholism, drug addiction, and perhaps other bad hidden habits like cheating on your spouse, or perhaps other types of hidden affairs, things that we do when the door is closed and it's dark. So essentially it is also the house of hidden pleasures. 12th house is also the house of generational karma. This is karma that you didn't earn. This is karma that just came into your life because you happened to be born in a certain family with a certain last name. So this is karma that you cannot do anything about. It's karma that is passed down from generation to generation. The 12th house also rules foreign lands and things we're not in touch with, things we don't know. So essentially the 9th house and the 12th house are being highlighted because the planets that rule those houses are conjunct in the sign of Pisces. So what is so special about this conjunction? Well, this conjunction last happened in the 1800s, around the 1856 or something like that. Why is that so? Well, Neptune has a 165-year cycle around the zodiac. So essentially, this is what's making this transit a once-in-a-lifetime transit. We're not going to be around to tell our children what perhaps may have happened at the time of this conjunction, just like our ancestors cannot tell us what happened to them specifically during the last time that this conjunction happened. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. So Jupiter is the faster moving planet. Both are generational planets. So their effect is going to this conjunction is essentially going to have an effect on all of mankind. But I like to discuss specifically how it's going to affect you personally with your own natal birth chart. So if we take a look at what happened at the last Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, which happened in the sign of Aquarius 13 years back, would be 2009. Well, what happened for the world, or let me be specific to America, because this is where I live, this is my home. What happened in 2009 was that Barack Obama became the first African American president of the United States of America. That was an epic moment, an epic achievement. This brought a perfect example to the rest of the world about race relations and acceptance. So essentially for Barack Obama, that was a miraculous moment. This was a dream perhaps he had as a child, and it manifested and came true. So this is what Neptune and Jupiter do when they conjunct. They make dreams come true, and they also dissolve boundaries. I practice astrology because I want to help you, the individual, understand how astrology aspects your own natal birth chart. So therefore, I'm going to give you two personal examples of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So when Neptune conjuncted my natal Jupiter, I conceived my son. My Jupiter is the ruler of my fifth house. Fifth house rules over creativity, and children are a result of our creativity. So it's not only this once in a lifetime transit to look forward to. Look where your Jupiter or your Neptune is and see if they're going to get a conjunction from either Jupiter or Neptune. This is a dream come true type of transit. So it's very likely you will get a personal visit from one of these planets and achieve something that you've really worked hard on, or something that you've really hoped would happen. The next time that Jupiter and Neptune conjuncted was in Aquarius in 2009. In 2009, my husband and I were looking for a house, essentially our first home together. And we were so lucky to find the perfect dream house with a white picket fence in an affluent neighborhood. We got this house at an unbelievable price. And this house happened to be on the same street as my mother-in-law. My husband lived there pretty much all his life. So for us to find our first home on the street that he grew up on, that was like a dream come true for him. It was a dream come true for me as well. It was a beautiful home. We're very happy there. So how does this relate to my chart? This conjunction last happened again in 2009, and it happened in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius for Scorpio rising is the fourth house. So this dream come true happened in the fourth house that rules homes, houses, mother, your ancestors. That is a perfect example of how Jupiter and Neptune conjunction can just dissolve all the boundaries, anything that has been blocking you from achieving what you wanted. We didn't think we would find a house on the same street. We didn't even really dream of it, but it happened, and it happened very easily, and we were very happy in this house. So look forward to when Jupiter and Neptune conjunct your natal Jupiter or your natal Neptune. They have the same effect. So let's see what's going to happen for each ascendant when this conjunction happens in the sign of Pisces. The sign of Pisces, where things dissolve, where things end, where things miraculously happen, where dreams can come true, and where Jupiter can expand those dreams. Jupiter expands wherever it touches. Neptune dissolves boundaries. So Neptune will dissolve the boundaries. Jupiter will expand the goodness that is found in the dissolvement of those boundaries. So what is this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction going to do for mankind this time around in the sign of Pisces? Well, we may not know exactly what it's going to do for mankind right away this month, perhaps not. But over the next 13 years, it's going to become very clear. Neptune also rules over drugs and healing and the film industry. So essentially something could come up, maybe a different type of music that could be very healing. Pisces is a very feminine sign. It's a very creative and fertile sign. So perhaps we will have our first female president in the near future. Who knows? Maybe Neptune will dissolve those boundaries and make it possible for a female leader who is perhaps very Jupiterian, somebody who has a very good background in criminal justice, law system, or perhaps religion. So this extraordinary conjunction is going to stay in effect essentially for the next 13 years. So don't expect something to happen exactly on the day of the conjunction. Essentially, when planets conjunct, it's like a new moon. And at the new moon, we plant seeds, and those seeds have to take time to be in the fertile ground and then germinate and then eventually show what it is that we have sown in the ground. So it doesn't necessarily happen that very day of the conjunction. If you like the content of this video, please hit subscribe, like, and share my videos on your social media or with your friends and family. You just never know who needs to hear this message. You'll be helping my channel grow. I really, truly appreciate that. And you'll be encouraging me to do more videos. As you've seen, I've had a little bit of YouTube burnout. However, I am back. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share. So how is this conjunction going to impact your own natal birth chart? First of all, find where 24 degrees of Pisces is in your natal birth chart. This is the highlighted degree of the conjunction. However, I always use an orb of 3 degrees before or 3 degrees after to have an event happen. So that will essentially be 20 to 20 degrees of Pisces, all within range. And opposite side, we have Virgo. So anything between 20 degrees of Virgo to 27 degrees of Virgo is going to be intensely aspected. This is the opposition energy. This is a bit of a challenging energy because you are going to have other people opposing you, Virgo and Pisces. There's the axis of the 1st and 7th house. We always deal with the other. The other challenging aspect is the square aspect. And the signs that are going to receive the square aspects are Gemini and Sagittarius. A square aspect is a challenging aspect in that it pushes us to take action that we may not have taken if we were not challenged. And for some people, sometimes that's exactly what you need. You need to be challenged in order to be pushed to make things happen so that you can achieve your goals and dreams. So essentially the opposition aspect and the square aspect is going to be somewhat challenging. The other people who are going to be highly impacted in a very harmonious trine are the water signs. The water signs are going to benefit from this energy easily and effortlessly. Things will possibly just happen, things you've dreamt of, things you've been dreaming of, things you'd never thought would come to pass. They'll just happen effortlessly, because that's what the trine aspect does. It just makes things happen and energy flows effortlessly between the houses. So the trine aspect is the water signs, and the water signs, of course, we start with Pisces, where the action is, and then Scorpio and Cancer. These two signs are the other signs that are going to benefit with the trine aspect. The other ones who are also going to have a beneficial aspect of the sextile are the earth signs. The earth signs are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. However, with the sextile aspect, you have to make some type of effort. You have to put energy. You have to apply yourself in order for what you're wishing for to happen or have your dreams come true. So this is not energy you just sit back and let things happen. It's very likely that this energy is just going to pass you by if you don't do anything. Make an effort to achieve your goals with this aspect. So those are the major aspects that are going to be happening at this conjunction. And of course, the most important aspect, and the one which can be felt most intimately, intensely, and immediately, is the conjunction. So the highlighted degree is 24 degrees of Pisces. Find these points in your natal birth chart and try to make sense of what could possibly happen. And if you can't make sense of it, this is why I am here to help you with this conjunction. Book a reading with me. I have a 30% coupon code. Use it, get a reading, and we'll find out what this is going to do for you. Remember, this is a once in a lifetime transit. It's not going to happen in our lifetime unless they come up with certain medicines to help us live longer, or perhaps vampirism is actually a thing. Then I guess some people will have a Neptune return, or have this conjunction happen again, or have a repeat of this conjunction. So essentially, this is why most astrologers cannot tell you what could have possibly happened at the last conjunction, because none of us have ever experienced it, lived to tell it, and none of us are going to experience it and live to tell it. So this is just what it is. We have to experience it now and take advantage of this miraculous, magical. So looking at the event chart of this conjunction, this chart was made for the location New York City. This is because this is where I'm based. So all my charts, my event charts, are going to have New York City as the location. So find out what time this event is happening in your location and make a chart at astro.com for your own location. And then you can use synastry to superimpose this chart, the conjunction chart, to see how it affects your natal birth chart. And if you can't figure that out, this is why you book a reading with a professional astrologer like myself at rachel-mayo.com. Remember to use the coupon code, get 30% off. So let's look at this chart. We're not going to look at all the other aspects in this chart. I'm only going to look at what this conjunction is aspecting in this chart. So we're going to start with the house of Pisces. Find the house of Pisces and look at the conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune. That is going to be happening at 24 degrees of Pisces. So this is the highlighted degree. Let's look into what else is in Pisces. Right now we have Venus transiting the sign of Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces. She loves to be in Pisces. What is important about Venus being in Pisces? Well, on the 30th of April, we are going to have a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. This is where the transiting North Node is currently in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, who's currently at this conjunction exalted and will still be exalted at the time of the solar eclipse. So this is really, really relevant and important. After a week of this conjunction, Mars is going to also be part of the stellium in Pisces. And Mars is going to, at some point, pass the degree of this conjunction. Mars is a planet that brings action wherever it goes. It is an event trigger. So if you didn't have any event happen at the time of this conjunction and you have a planet there, when Mars passes this point, 24 degrees of Pisces, it's going to reactivate the conjunction. So perhaps at that point an event will happen. What is so important about Mars? Mars is the ruler of the South Node, the transiting South Node. So we have both rulers of the transiting South Node in the sign of the conjunction. The South Node and the North Node give us the direction of karma. This is fated, destined events. So this conjunction is essentially bringing things which were destined, karmic events, things which are supposed to happen in our lives. This is what the karmic nodes do. So the rulers of the karmic nodes are speaking very loudly at this conjunction, even louder later on in the month at the solar eclipse. The other aspect at this conjunction is Pluto is in sextile with the conjunction. Pluto is around 28 degrees of Capricorn and sextile this conjunction at 24 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio, and currently the transiting South Node is in the sign of Scorpio. The North Node is currently at 22 degrees of Taurus. So essentially the North Node is in sextile with this conjunction. So this conjunction is supporting us on a karmic level. It wants us to go towards our destiny. Things that may happen are supported by both nodes because the rulers of the nodes are both going to be transiting the sign of Pisces. This is really, really important. So just to summarize this, Pluto, the ruler of the South Node, is in sextile to this conjunction. Venus, the ruler of the North Node, is currently transiting Pisces and will conjunct this conjunction later this month. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. She's very happy in this sign. This is the happiest spot. So we have the ruler of the upcoming solar eclipse very happy in her exalted sign. This is very positive. It also tells us that the solar eclipse that we're going to have on the 30th of April is going to be a positive one because it's going to be still aspecting this conjunction, which is possibly going to get triggered by Mars at the time of the solar eclipse. So if you don't get an event at the time of the conjunction or at the time of the solar eclipse, look to the Scorpio lunar eclipse. However, it's a South Node eclipse, so it might entail some type of letting go. But it is at 26 degrees, which is going to aspect that Jupiter Neptune conjunction. So perhaps an event will happen then. So let's not forget that Jupiter also rules over drugs, alcohol, and delusions, fantasy, the movies, fakeness, photography, anything that is not real but imagined is ruled by Neptune. So unfortunately, the drug epidemic is only going to get worse, and people are going to be escaping through drugs, alcohol, or even through binge watching movies. That's Neptunian, it's escape, or others through sleeping. And because Neptune also rules other worlds, spiritual worlds, the aliens, things we don't know about, just we imagine about, or are there but we can't touch them, I believe this is the time that we're going to dissolve the boundaries with the other worlds. Perhaps we're going to start communicating with aliens, or perhaps in this 13 years, people, perhaps during the next 13 years, man is actually going to live in other places other than Earth. Who knows? Or we're going to start communicating with other beings that are present here with us or present in other worlds. Who knows? But that is all Neptunian. So in this evaluation, we have to remember to include the other house that Jupiter rules, and that is the Sagittarius house. So when I do look at the ascendant, moon and rising, when I do look at the ascendant, sun and moon signs, we are going to incorporate the Sagittarius house. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is happening in your 12th house. I said a lot of things about the 12th house, so if you haven't watched this video from the start, I encourage you to go back and watch it from the beginning. The 12th house is a hidden place. This is the place of our subconscious, our dreams, spirituality. This is also the house that rules generational karma. It rules far off foreign lands. It also rules over inherited generational karma. This is the house of endings. This is the house where things come to die. This house rules over hospitals, prisons, anything that's hidden from society is in this house. The 12th house basically rules things that are done in the dark, away from the view of others, hidden affairs. It's also the sex house. It's also the intimacy. It's also the sexual house. Normally we don't have sex in front of other people. We have it behind closed doors. And it also rules our self-sabotaging habits. And these could be overeating, alcoholism, drug addiction. So Aries people might be experiencing really prophetic dreams, a lot of energy in the dream world, perhaps even talking to your ancestors and also the other world. This time you could have the potential to be a medium. If you're trying to venture into the field of astrology, tarot reading, anything of the occult is supported by this transit. This transit is going to open windows. It's going to make you very, very psychic. You might start talking to dead people. So here comes in the medium. So if that's something that you're interested in, this is the perfect time for you to break into this field. Let's also look at the other house that Jupiter rules, which is the house of Sagittarius, the 9th house, your 9th house. The 9th house rules over justice system, law and order, religion, priests, gurus, higher education, foreign lands. And when you put these two houses together and consider the conjunction, if you've been trying to live in a foreign country, live there legally, this is the time the window would open for you, and it would happen very, very easily. You'll be able to move to a foreign country and get your paperwork, your green card, or whatever it is that you have to get. And it could be a dream come true for many people if you've been wishing for this for a very long time. And if you've been wanting to study in a foreign country, this is also the time that you get the chance to do so. So anything 9th house related, adding it to the 12th house, because this is where the conjunction is happening, it could make your dream come true almost magically. So Aries, make sure you take advantage of this transit. Perhaps meditation, some type of deep silent meditation could be beneficial at this time. If you've been struggling with drug addiction, this is the time that you could successfully go into a rehab program and heal your soul and heal your addiction to drugs or alcohol or whatever else it is that you could possibly be addicted to. This is a time of healing. Neptune is going to dissolve the blockages and heal you. And Jupiter is going to expand the goodness of the healing and help you achieve a higher level of your existence or a higher level of success, or your dreams can easily just come true. So this is also the house of God. This is the house of belief, where you just have faith that things will happen. This is going to be highly important for you to believe and have faith in your higher power, whether it is God or whatever it is that you do believe in. This is the time to pray. This is the time to use your faith and believe in it and hope and wish, and those things could possibly happen. It's a great transit. Taurus ascendant, sun or moon. This transit is happening in your 11th house. The 11th house is a happy house. Jupiter loves to be in the 11th house. The 11th house rules over our hopes, dreams, and wishes. This is the house where we get the results of the work that we did in the 10th house. So we do earn these promotions, accolades, and higher standing in society, elevations of status. All of that is achieved in the 11th house. So it's very likely that you could possibly get a promotion, or you could be able to join a group that you've been dreaming and only hoping that you could be a part of, perhaps an online organizational group. This is the time that you will be easily accepted in it. It's also the time something really lucky could happen with your brother or your uncle, because this house also rules those things. So anything that you've been wishing for and hoping would happen and come true can happen during this conjunction. We also have to consider your 8th house, because Jupiter rules your 8th house of Sagittarius. What is the 8th house? The 8th house is the house of other people's money, unearned money, like inheritances, financial windfalls, lottery wins. It is also the house that rules intimacy, sex, rebirth, death, and transformation. So all those things could possibly be expanded. It all depends on how this is aspecting your chart. But I believe for you, Taurus, it's going to be quite positive, because your ruling planet is going to be part of this conjunction in Pisces, and your ruling planet is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and you're going to have a solar eclipse at the end of the month. This, being that your ruler Venus is in the sign of Pisces where it's exalted, is an indicator that the solar eclipse that's coming is going to be a very positive one. I'm going to veer on the positive outcomes of the 8th house joined with the 11th house. So if you've been trying to get a mortgage, get a loan, a car loan, or you've been waiting for your inheritance, this is the time that is going to come, because that's a wish or dream come true. And if it's an inheritance, you know, the 8th house is going to do its thing. Obviously somebody's going to have to pass on in order for you to get this inheritance. But given that this is a very positive conjunction, if there is a passing, it will probably be a healing passing, probably with somebody who was suffering for a long time, and then this conjunction dissolves their existence here and sets them free, and as a result you do get a financial gain. The 8th house is a money house. The 11th house is wish fulfillment. So this transit is going to be very positive for you, Taurus, and your sign is aspecting this conjunction via a sextile, which is a harmonious aspect, and all it requires is a little push and energy from you. Make sure you take action towards your dreams, wishes, anything that you've been working on, you want to start working on. This is an excellent time for you to do so. Gemini, ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is happening in your 10th house. The 10th house is a public house. This is our standing in society, the work that we do, our job, our career. It also rules over our bosses and our authority figures. So any event that happens in the 10th house is going to be there for everyone to see. Unfortunately, you are one of the signs that's being aspected by this conjunction via a square. A square is a negative, a square is a challenging aspect which pushes us to take action. And sometimes we need to be pushed or challenged in order to take action so that we can achieve what it is that we're dreaming of. The other way this aspect could play out is if you've been delusional about your standing in society, if you've been wearing pink glasses, or if there's been any type of deception, this is the time that you're going to see what has been going on, what is really behind those pink glasses. Some people will wake up and take positive action towards whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. Unfortunately, some of you will fall even deeper into delusions and letting the deception go on. However, whichever way you look at it, you are going to be pushed to take action, whether you like it or not. And the 7th house is the other house that the 7th house is the other house that Jupiter rules, the house of Sagittarius. This is the house of your partnerships, your committed, serious partnerships, as in your married, as in your spouse, your business partner, or any other type of agreement that you get into. The 7th house also rules over our open enemies. How do they become open enemies? You get married, you're in love and you're in agreement, or you start a business with a partner, you sign an agreement because you're in agreement. At some point during this marriage or business partnerships, you're going to have some disagreement and you might want to dissolve that agreement. So you end up in a divorce and you're fighting your spouse in court. So essentially they become your open enemy. And if there's a disagreement in your business agreement, you might also end up in court trying to dissolve the agreement. Essentially, your business partner becomes your open enemy. So these are the situations that are going to be brought up with this conjunction. Your standing in society may be challenged because this is happening in angle houses. Angle houses, the MC and the descendant, and you on the ascendant. So every angle is getting activated. So please pay attention, watch out and see where you're deluded. And if there's some help, there's a helping hand. The helping hand could come from the planets that you have in the water signs and the earth signs. So it is highly essential for you, Gemini, to get a reading and really find out where your helping hand could come through, where your guardian angel is there watching for you and guiding you. This is a very beneficial transit. Please take advantage of it and open your eyes to deceptions, and please take off those pink colored glasses. Cancer, ascendant, sun or moon. This transit is happening in your 9th house. This is another lucky house because this is a Jupiterian house. The 9th house rules over our justice system, our legal system, law and order, higher education, gurus, religion, foreign lands. So if you've been trying to get a green card or travel to a foreign land, it's been a dream of yours and you didn't know how you were going to do it or make it happen, something will come along at this time and make it happen for you. The lucky signs, so Cancer, you are one of the lucky signs that's getting a trine from this conjunction. And Jupiter, the planet which is part of this conjunction, is exalted in your sign. So it likes making contact or any aspect to Cancer. That is a lucky aspect. Very, very supportive. So whatever it is that you've been trying to achieve in this 9th house, it can happen, and it will happen easily and effortlessly. You will just wake up one day and things will just fall into place. So let's look at the other house that Jupiter rules in your chart. It rules the house of Sagittarius, your 6th house. What is the sixth house about? Sixth house is about our daily routine. What do you do every day? You wake up, you eat, so that's your diet. You exercise, that's your workout regimen. And then after that, perhaps you go to work. What do you do for work? Who are you encountering in your workplace? Of course, you have your co-workers and you have your bosses, but this is more the people that you interact with more on a daily basis. So I would leave that at your co-workers. It is also the house of our known enemies. The house of our unknown enemies is on the opposite side, the 12th house. But in the 6th house, we know our enemies. And how is this so? Your co-worker is not your friend. Your co-worker could essentially become your known enemy at any given moment, whether be it over a promotion, a salary increase. This will become your competitor. So always remember the reason why your co-worker is not your friend. They are your acquaintance and just your co-worker. They can turn on you at any given moment. This is the house of our known enemies. So considering that, if you've had an outstanding lawsuit, an ongoing lawsuit, this is the time that it would be easily dissolved, and this will be the time that it will be easily concluded and ruled in your favor, because you have the 9th house highlighted. This is where this conjunction is happening and where a lawsuit is settled. You take your known enemy to court and it's settled in the 9th house via our justice system. So this is a very, very lucky transit for anybody who's had any legal troubles, or anybody that needs to get a green card, get any type of legal paperwork, or anything to do with a foreign country or with a higher education system. For those who've been trying to get into a university or college and they thought they could never get into it, it's impossible, you know, this is the time that things will just magically happen. If it was the finances that was the problem, this is the time that you get financial aid or you get a loan for your education. Your dreams could come true in this area and they'll happen very easily. So if you want to know if you have any other planets in the earth signs that could be possibly encouraging this magical happening, get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. I have a 30% discount on most readings. Just visit my website. Leo ascendant, sun or moon. This transit is happening in your 8th house. This is a monumental transit that happens only once in a lifetime. And to have it in the house of other people's money, inheritances, financial windfalls, possibly a lottery win, and also deep psychological healing. And if somebody has been suffering from an illness if somebody in your family has been suffering from an illness for a very long time, this is the time that they may get released, they may be dissolved, and it will be something where it will end their suffering. The 8th house is, after all, the house of death and transformation. So essentially, you're going to experience deep transformation in this house, and even perhaps from rags to riches. Something is definitely going to happen that's positive in this house. So let's look and see which other house Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules the 5th house, your 5th house of Sagittarius. And why am I saying it could be a financial windfall? It could be a financial windfall from perhaps gambling. Jupiter in the 5th house, the 5th house rules over our creativity, our creative talents. It is also the house that rules over our earned karma, good luck. It's the house of luck, the luck that we earned through our good deeds in our past life. So this happens naturally. It's not something you have to work for and earn. This happens in the opposite house, the 11th house. The 11th house is karma or good luck that we earn through the 10th house. So we actually work for it. Versus the 5th house, where we don't work for it. We worked for it in a past life. And if you don't believe in past lives, let's say you worked for it when you were younger, or perhaps a decade ago, and now you're, reaping the rewards. But I truly believe this is karma, good karma, that we come into this existence with. So your fifth house, this house also rules over romance, our children, gambling, and just having fun, enjoying life, vacations, all the fun things that we want to do are in the fifth house. It also rules over sports. It rules over our talents, like, singing, writing, poetry, anything that is creative. And what is our biggest creation? It is our children. So if you've been trying to get pregnant and you had challenges doing so, this is the time you will have that magical dream baby. You will have that wish and dream come true. Why is this so? The fifth house rules children. Jupiter is the planet that essentially grants children, rules over childbirth. Jupiter is the fifth house, is the house where sex and romance begins, and the eighth house is the house of deep sexual intimacy. So both these houses being highlighted in a very positive conjunction, only good things can happen. So Leo, you deserve this. You've been through a lot. Enjoy this transit and make sure to make the best of it. So if you want to know how this conjunction will affect you personally, perhaps you have some planets in the other signs that are receiving a really positive aspect to this conjunction. There could be a guiding light, a guardian angel helping you to go, pushing you and helping you to go in the right direction to achieve your dreams and goals. You can only find this out by getting a professional chart reading. Find me at rachel-mayo.com. I have a 30% off coupon for most of my readings. Take advantage of it. Let's find out where this is really happening for you. Virgo, ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is happening in the seventh house. Having Jupiter transit your seventh house is always a very, very lucky and happy moment. Jupiter will liberate you if you're in a bad relationship, bad business agreement, bad marriage. Jupiter will free you, and it will almost all the time bring you a new partner, a better fitting partner. The people that will mostly benefit this, the people that can benefit mostly from this are females, or females that seek a more masculine partner, because Jupiter in a woman's chart rules the husband. So essentially, if you have a bad husband, you're in a bad marriage, Jupiter will free you, and Jupiter will bring you a better match. So Jupiter Neptune conjunction, they rule this sign. So essentially, Neptune will dissolve the boundaries, whatever has been blocking you from finding that ultimate partner, that business partner, that marriage partner. The boundaries are going to be dissolved, and Jupiter will bring in the blessings. They work hand in hand. So if you've been single for a long time, this is time to definitely get out, because your husband or wife is certainly looking for you at this or around this time. Let's also consider that Jupiter rules your fourth house of Sagittarius. What is your fourth house? The fourth house rules over our home, our mother, our homeland, our ancestors. This is the fourth house is the place where we are most vulnerable, because this is where we go home, take our shoes off, get naked, take the makeup off, and just be our plain lonesome self. So it is a very, very vulnerable place, and the fourth house also rules over our deep hidden emotions, perhaps our resentments towards our family or our mother, things that we just keep inside. This is the fourth house. So now let's bring the fourth house to the seventh house. So perhaps there have been issues between your mother and your spouse. These issues will possibly be dissolved. Perhaps you've been wanting to purchase your dream home. This is the time that you have all the blockages, and this is the time that all the blockages, anything that's been in your way into achieving this contract or agreement. Because essentially when you're buying a house, it is a contract. You do sign some paperwork. You do sign some paperwork, and this is a seventh house activity. So boundaries could be dissolved. Anything that's been in the way of you achieving your goals, your dreams, will be dissolved at this time. The other supporting aspect is the fact that Virgo is an earth sign. So Virgo is getting a very positive sextile aspect to this conjunction. So if you apply yourself, you put in energy into achieving what it is that you've been dreaming of, it can happen. So keep in mind that if you don't apply yourself with this energy, nothing is going to come to pass, especially if you don't have any highlighted planets at this, especially if you don't have anything at the highlighted degree of this conjunction. The other thing that's going to possibly happen is Virgo is going to be, the other thing that will happen is Virgo is going to have to deal with the other, because they're receiving the opposition from this conjunction. So you will certainly be dealing with a spouse, a business partner, or somebody, and you will be bouncing ideas back and forth between the two of you. Some of those ideas will be in agreement, and some of them perhaps not. So it all depends on what else is going on in your chart. And if you're confused about this and you'd like to find out more, I have a 30% discount coupon. Take advantage of it. Book a reading with me at my website, rachel-mayo.com. Libra ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is happening in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house of challenges. It's the house where we take action. It's the house of what do you do for work? Where do you work? Where do you go to work every day? What do you eat? What's your diet? What's your exercise regimen? It is the house of disease. It's also the house of our known enemies. The opposite house, the 12th house, is where we have our hidden enemies, and this house is where we have our known enemies. Our co-workers could be our known enemies. I always tell people your co-worker is not your friend. Your co-worker at any given moment could become your known enemies, your known enemy if there's a competition, perhaps for a promotion or a salary increase. Your coworker will become your known enemy. And if you have bad eating habits, you don't exercise, you don't work out at all, that could essentially breed an open enemy, and that open enemy will be disease as a result of your bad habits. So essentially, if you've been battling some type of chronic disease, you've been suffering for a long time, Neptune is a healing planet. Neptune rules over drugs. So perhaps there will be an experimental drug that will be approved at this time, and it could bring healing to you probably instantly and magically so. Or perhaps you will try some type of alternate healing or medication, and it will help you at this time. And for those people who have been looking for work, have been out of work for a very long time, or you've been trying to get into an industry or get a special type of job, this is the time that the boundaries will be dissolved, the doors will open, and you will get this employment, and you'll be very happy because it will be your dream job and it will be a wish fulfilled. So let's look at the other house that Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules your 3rd house of Sagittarius. So this is another house of effort. In the 6th house, we have to put effort. In the 3rd house, we have to learn skills and put effort. It is the house of communication. It could be the house of written word. It's also the house of our computers, our cell phones, our telephones. It is also the house where we drive from one location to the next, probably in our immediate environment. Short distance travel is ruled by this house. This house also rules over our siblings. It rules over our childhood friends who we grew up with in the same neighborhood. It rules over our neighbors. Most of all, this is a house of skills. Let's put this house in conjunction with the 6th house. Perhaps you learned a new skill that you're going to use to find that dream job you're going to use in the 6th house. Or perhaps you're going to take effort into eating better or exercising, and that way your health will be improved. And for some people, maybe you've been trying to get your driver's license for a very long time, and you do manage to get your driver's license easily this time, and you find a job as an Uber driver or, food delivery or something like that. Something close in your neighborhood, something that's not going to require a lot of travel or too much effort. Just you using your skills, your trade, to earn a living. This is a very positive transit. If you really want to know how it's going to affect you, I suggest you get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Make sure to use the 30% coupon code. Make sure to use the 30% off coupon code, which I'm going to post in the comments, or it's highlighted somewhere along this video. You might need to know what is going on in your water signs and in your earth signs. This could be where your guiding angel is and the helping hand that you may need in some of these situations. Otherwise, this is a positive transit. Take advantage of it. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon. This is a very positive transit for us. It's happening in our 5th house. The 5th house rules over creativity. And what is our biggest creativity? And what is our biggest creation? It is our children, of course. So if you've been trying to get pregnant, you've been trying to conceive, and you thought it was over, it's done, it can never happen. Doctors told you the only way you can get pregnant is through IVF, or it just might never happen at all. This is the time that you get lucky. Something will come this is the time that you get lucky that dream child is going to happen. You could very easily conceive at this time. The conjunction is happening in a very fertile feminine sign of Pisces. Neptune is going to dissolve whatever blockages that you may have been facing, and Jupiter is going to bless this house and expand the goodness. This is one of the luckiest houses in the zodiac, and I think this is the luckiest placement of this conjunction, other than in its own sign, Ascendant Pisces. 5th house is the house of our earned karma that we earned in our past life. We are born with it. We come into this world with that good karma and good luck. It's not as in the opposite house, the 11th house, where it's good luck or good karma that you earned because of the work that you did in the 10th house. That's different type of karma. You didn't have to work for this karma. You worked for it in a past life. And the conjunction of these two planets that rule this sign is going to bring you what you deserve from a past life. This is your reward. So if you're in the creative field, you're a musician, you're an artist, this is a time to definitely put yourself out there, be creative. Something really magical can happen. If you've been trying to get signed or release your album, this is the moment to do so. And if you're just writing music, you could write something really profound, something that lasts, something that lasts for a long time and is appreciated by our generation for many years to come. This could be an epic moment, so definitely go for your dreams. And since this house also rules over luck and gambling, Scorpio, you are one of the signs that could have a really lucky break at the racetrack or at the casino, or perhaps invest in some lottery tickets. Something magical could happen. Just don't become a gambling addict or bet the farm or anything like that, but certainly do try your luck. If it's meant to happen, if you have that blessing and aspect in your chart, or you have that earned karma from a past life, that earned good luck, it could definitely happen. The other reason why I think some people are going to get a financial windfall is because Jupiter does rule your second house, Sagittarius. The second house is a house of our earned income. This is the house of our earning ability. What are you doing for work to earn a living? This is also the house of the face, the mouth. What goes in the mouth and what goes out of the mouth. This is also the house of our family, the family that we create with another person. This is not the family that we're forced to be born into. This is the family that we choose someone. You choose a spouse, a husband, a wife, or a partner, and decide to create a family. You choose this family. It is also so essentially our friends, our childhood friends, or our best friends that have been our friends for a very long time, and we tend to call them or treat them like family, also belong to this house. So we are taking the second house and combining it with the fifth house and getting a result from it. So the possibilities are endless. So if you've been having challenges, blockages, and you believe in God or whatever else that you may believe in, a higher power, or whatever your religion is, this is the time to use your faith and belief. It's a time to pray, deep prayer. Speak with your higher power, speak with God, and your dreams could be answered. This is a very lucky transit. It's also being aspected by a trine aspect. So things are going to flow easily. They'll just happen easily and effortlessly. Of course, you have to wake up and do something, but when you do actually do something, they're just going to happen easily. And some of the things, you may not even have to do anything. They will just they'll just easily flow and happen. That is how the trine aspect works. But if you feel like you need to know a bit further, you want to know what's going on with your other planets where you're having the positive aspect in the earth signs, you want to know where your other if you want to know where your helping hand, your guardian angel, is also still looking out for you, I suggest you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Make sure to use the coupon code highlighted in this video or under the comment section. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun or moon. This conjunction is happening in your fourth house. The fourth house is the house of our home, our mother, our ancestors, our deep hidden emotions. The fourth house is where we are most vulnerable. It's where we take our clothes off, close the door, take off the makeup, and just be your lonesome self. So we are vulnerable in the fourth house, and this conjunction is happening there. So if there's been some ongoing challenges or drama within your family, some generational ancestral karma, negative karma, this is the time that this will end, because Neptune is going to dissolve the boundaries or the blockages, and Jupiter is going to come in and bless this house and expand the goodness. But unfortunately, you are receiving a square aspect from this conjunction. So that means you may be pushed into taking action in order to achieve your hopes, in order to achieve your dreams, whatever it is that you've been longing for on a soul deep level. So the square aspect, as I said, pushes us into action. But most of the time, you do need to be pushed into action in order to achieve something. Otherwise, you just sit there and hope things will change by themselves. Another way which the square aspect could play out is in delusions. If you've been deluding yourself, this is the time that it's either going to be exposed, or for some people, unfortunately, they're going to fall even deeper into their delusions. Other people will be shown where there's deception in their life, perhaps in their home, with their family. All these deceptions will come to light, and others may just decide to, put the pink glasses on and stay in denial and, be deluded. It's all up to Do you have anything in the water signs or in the earth signs? Perhaps you get some help, a helping hand, a guardian angel that can help you out of these challenging situations. So we have to put the first house, because Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter after all. So essentially you are part of the problem, or you are part of the situation, because you are brought into the fourth house. You're part of the drama. So when the first house is highlighted, it highlights the opposite house, which is the seventh house, and then highlights the other angle, which is the MC, and then falls right back down to the fourth house where all this is happening. So essentially that means all your angles could be activated at this time and could need attention or action to be taken. I suggest that you get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Use the coupon code in the comment section, or highlighted somewhere in this video, or highlighted somewhere else, somewhere in this video. You might really need a helping hand from planets or angles, points in your earth and water signs. This is where your guardian angel is going to be speaking to you from. Otherwise, just try to live in reality. Take the pink glasses off. Don't be in denial about the deceptions in your life. Capricorn, ascendant, sun, or moon. This conjunction is happening in your third house. What is the third house about? The third house rules over our immediate environment, our neighbors. It also rules over our siblings. It rules over the written word, spoken word. It rules over writing. So if you've been working on a book, this is time to finish that book and get it out there, get it published, or start writing that book. Since it also rules the spoken word, it could also be about issues that you've been having with your siblings or your neighbors, since this is the area where all those things fall under. The third house also rules over learning, our learning ability, the skills that we learn, mostly skills that we do with our hands, or our mental skills, our thinking. It rules over our computers, communication, our phones. That is all under the third house. So this is the area that's being highlighted. So let's find out the other house that Jupiter rules in your chart. Jupiter rules the 12th house of Sagittarius. What is the 12th house? This is where we self-sabotage ourselves. This is the house that rules over addictions, drug addiction, alcoholism, food addictions, sexual addictions, all types of things that we do behind closed doors, hidden affairs. The 12th house also rules over hospitals, prisons, anywhere where you're away from society. It also rules over foreign lands, really far off foreign lands. The other thing it rules over is places where we cannot touch or feel, or things that we cannot see, but we just have to believe that they're there. And what is that? It's belief in God or a higher system. It's also far off lands, places that we can't see, like, other planets or other worlds, and perhaps aliens. And it is also the spiritual house. So essentially this house being highlighted, and the communication and also the communication house being highlighted, it means that people could become mediums at this time. They could find a way of communicating with the other side, or you could become highly spiritual, or learn a skill such as tarot reading, or even astrology, or some other type of occult system. Perhaps numerology comes to mind with this one. So these two houses are being highlighted, and Capricorn is being aspected by this conjunction in a sextile. A sextile is a very positive and harmonious aspect, but with a sextile you have to use this energy, you have to take effort. The third house, you have to make effort in order to achieve something. It's just not going to happen magically. It can happen magically depending on your other aspects, perhaps in Pisces, and Most important with this aspect is you have to take action. If you don't take action, the energy could possibly just pass you by. So Capricorn, you're being supported at this conjunction. You have a book that's waiting to come out. Write it. You've had ongoing issues, generational karma type of issues with your siblings or with a neighbor. This is the time that Neptune will dissolve those issues, the boundaries and the blockages, and possibly heal these relationships. So this is the time to make an effort to contact your siblings or your neighbor to heal this thing that's been an ongoing thing from perhaps past lives, or it was this bad karma that is passed on from generation to generation. You have an opportunity now with the support of Neptune and Jupiter conjunction to heal this negative karma within your family, as in within your siblings. This is the time to take advantage of this transit. So make an effort. And if you'd like to know how this conjunction is going to aspect your own natal birth chart, I suggest you get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com and use the coupon code to get 30% off. Aquarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. This conjunction is happening in your second house. The second house is the house of our self-esteem. It's the house that rules over the face, the mouth, essentially what goes in and out of the mouth. So you use the mouth to make presentations, public speaking, or perhaps for some singing. If you have a talent or you've always dreamt that you wanted to be an artist, a singer, this is the time that that dream could come true. And you'd possibly earn a good living doing that, because this is a money house. The second house is our earning ability. We earn money. We do something for work in this house. The second house also rules over our family, not the family that you're born into as in the fourth house. This is the family that you make with another person. The other person could be a spouse, a partner, or whoever it is that you decide to make a family with. It can also rule over our friends who we've been close with for many, many years, and we decide to call them family. So essentially, this is family we choose. You know, you choose, not that you're forced to be born into, and perhaps you don't like the family that you were born into. Well, this is the chance for you to make your own family. Who do you want to call family? This conjunction is going to bring possibilities and dissolve all kinds of blockages to achieving what you dream for. The other house that's being highlighted is your 11th house. Jupiter rules the Sagittarius house, your 11th house. And what is the 11th house? In the 11th house is where we get accolades, promotions. The 11th house is the house of our wishes, hopes, and dreams. This is where we achieve them. We get them in the form of accolades, promotions, financial promotions, achievements, our change, our elevation in status by belonging to certain elite groups that you never thought you would get into. Perhaps you'll be able to join a club that you have been excluded from for a very long time. This is the time that those blockages are going to dissolve and you'll be able to get into these clubs. This is also the time that something really positive can happen with an elder sibling or an uncle. Perhaps you're going to start a business with your uncle or your elder sibling. This is very, very well supported by this transit. So the second house is a financial house, and the 11th house is also somewhat a financial house, because usually rewards do come in form of money or promotions, which essentially means more money. So some of you could get a windfalls at this time, or a big promotion that could lead you to improving the life of your family. This is a very positive transit. Unfortunately, Aquarius is not directly being impacted by this conjunction. There's no aspect between Aquarius and Pisces. They're right next to each other. So that means we have to look to your earth signs and your water signs and see if there's anything at the highlighted degree of 24 degrees. This is where your helping hand is coming. This is where your guardian angel is going to direct you and push you in the right direction so that you can achieve your dreams easily. So if you're confused and you don't understand how this is working out in your chart, I suggest you get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. I'll make it very easy for you. We'll find out where you're being pointed and being guided so you can take advantage of this transit that is quite monumental and epic. It's a once-in-a-lifetime transit. Pisces ascendant, sun or moon. Well, aren't you the luckiest of them all? This transit is quite monumental and epic, and it's happening in your first house. You have the hand of God, may I say. You have the power in your hand to do anything that you want in any direction of your life, because your ascendant is being highlighted. And when the ascendant is being given so much power and advantage, it helps you correct any area in your life. You can use this energy in any area in your life. The ascendant is opposite the descendant. So that means you can work with other people in order to come into agreements, things that can help you achieve what it is that you want. This time it's all about you. But if you want to use others in order to achieve your dreams, the door is quite open. If you want to improve your home area, your relationships with your family, your mother, there is an opening there as well. And if you want to improve your standing in society, your career, there is a helping hand there too. So Pisces, if you've been dreaming and wanting to enhance your look through some type of surgery, this is the time you can actually do so. If there were any type of financial blockages into you achieving that, this is the time that you can magically, as if by magic, some type of credit or loan can come your way. The other house that's being highlighted at this conjunction is your 10th house. Your 10th house is ruled by your 10th house is Sagittarius and ruled by Jupiter, which is your other ruling planet. So you're being blessed in the two houses. Mostly you have good energy coming from yourself, so it's up to you to make choices and direct this energy, and you can direct it mostly towards your standing in society, because that's another Jupiterian house, Jupiter ruled house, Sagittarius. So you have essentially a lot of power there too. So you can influence your mother, your home area. You can influence your partners into achieving what you want or changing your status in society. Anything is possible at this time. If you've had any generational karma, just things, horrible things that have been happening, this is the time you can use the power of prayer. Speak to your God, your higher power, or whatever it is that you believe in. Prayers will be answered magically at this time. Take advantage of this transit. And on top of it, you have the rulers of the South Node and the North Node transiting your sign, with the ruler of the North Node, Venus, who is exalted, transiting in your sign, a karmic blessing. You're going to feel much more of an effect you're also going to feel more of an effect at the solar eclipse at the end of the month, which is not too far from now, because you're hosting the ruler of the North Node and the South Node. This is our karmic destiny. This is where we must go, the North Node, ruled by Venus, and where we must let go, the South Node, ruled by Mars, who's also going to come into your sign, and possibly around the time of the eclipse or a little bit after, Mars is going to trigger this conjunction. Another really supportive aspect is the fact that you are sextiling Pluto, the other ruler of the South Node. So you're sextiling the other ruler of the South Node, and you're hosting the other ruler of the South Node, Mars, and you're also hosting the ruler of the North Node. I can't imagine or even begin to tell you just how huge, epic, monumental. I can't even begin to tell you how magical, epic, and momentous this transit is. This is really excellent. I don't even think the last time that there was a conjunction in the sign of Pisces, we had all these other supportive aspects. I truly don't think so. I've not looked at that chart, but I don't think we had the North Nodes transiting the sign of Taurus with the ruler of the North Node in your sign at the same time of the conjunction. This is truly magical, and good things are going to happen. If you wanted if you've been suffering from an ailment, you've had chronic disease or pain in your body, this is the time that you will magically find treatment or cure, or you just magically get healed. It does happen. If you had a tumor that was growing and maybe you had treatment and it may start shrinking, it may start dissolving. That's what your ruler Neptune does. And when it's given the blessing from Jupiter, your other ruler, anything is possible. So if you want to know how this is affecting your chart, where specifically, you want to find out which planets are being activated in your other water areas or in the earth signs, I suggest you get a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. Make sure to use the coupon code, get 30% off most of my readings. Take advantage of it while it's still running. I hope to see you there. And please make sure to subscribe, like this video, share it with others who've been wondering how to make sense of this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. I think I did a great job breaking it down, and look forward to my video on this solar eclipse.